Now, this is an exciting morning for me because Miss Adina is traveling back from Disneyland or Disney World. I don't know which is which, the one in Florida. Disney World, thank you. And so I was allowed, thanks to the wonderful lay leaders, to do the message for all ages. Very exciting for me. So hello, everyone, some new faces and some familiar faces. Now, I thought that this morning you all were going to be looking at birds outside, and it turns out you're actually going to be looking for a whole lot of living things outside, which is even better. But I mostly wrote a little bit about birds, so you'll have to excuse me. But I think when you go on your scavenger hunt, you're probably going to see some birds. So the last apartment that I lived in, I was living in Charleston, West Virginia, and I had a little backyard and one raised bed. Now, the raised bed was right by 3 cars that parked in it, so perhaps not the ideal place for gardening, but I was so excited to have a little garden all of my own that I really went to town planting in this one small raised bed. It was coined a chaos gardening as a technique because normally I kill plants. So I thought nothing was going to survive. So I really doused this with seeds. Turns out everything grew. So there were way too many vegetables in our little garden. But I was so proud of it, and I loved that garden. And I was working as a chaplain at a hospital during COVID, and it was exhausting and grueling in all the ways you would imagine. And this garden reminded me that life was still blooming, that with some care and attention, even if sometimes chaotic, life could bloom and bloom. The garden became so important to me. So you can imagine my displeasure when a particular robin decided that she also loved my garden. I think people know where this is going. Before long, so many of my vegetables, my seeds were just being plucked up from the garden. This bird and I, for a long time, I did not see her, but I knew she was there. We kind of had this like passive aggressive fight where I would try and put something over this little raised bed. I wasn't going to do the whole like fencing all around and on top sort of thing. But, I did little things to try and claim my little space, and she did not care. Until one day, I had worked an overnight shift, so I was off and I was around in the morning tending to my garden. And this bird comes brazenly right next to me in the garden and starts plucking and doing her thing. And I try and shoo her off, and she leaves for a minute. And then she comes back. And so I shoo her off. This repeated a couple times until finally I was just like, so aggressively pushed her away that she just flew off and didn't come back for a little while. Here I am, hunched over, doing my thing in my garden. And all of a sudden, I feel a wet plop right on my back. The robin decided to go to the bathroom on me. I continued gardening because you know what? I was not going to let her win. But later that day, I'm not going to lie, maybe 2 weeks later, because I was a bit self-righteous about this fight with this garden. A couple weeks later, I was doing some reflection and I realized that all the roots, that all the earth are the robins, just as they are mine. That in a lot of ways, I had taken some of her home. And though I still wanted her to stay out of my garden, I had to accept that I really did need to share this space with her. I didn't wind up putting up all those nettings, and I accepted that my chaos garden that created so many vegetables, probably more than there should be in one raised bed, actually gave some room to the robin as well. So my hope for you all when you go on your scavenger hunt is that you do not have any fights with the animals, and that none of the animals try to go to the bathroom on you. That would be very unfortunate. But most importantly, I hope that you can come to an understanding of how you relate to these animals and share the world with them. So may you have a wonderful time on your scavenger hunt outside, and may you enjoy the beautiful weather we're having. We'll now sing you all out. We hold you in our love as you go, as you go. May your heart